A huge part of being a good leader is having the ability to create genuine relationships that actually advance your career. Now, this is according to a prominent human connection expert. Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Editor's Notes with me, Cy Williams. And I'm here today to examine leadership as we prepare for our all-new issue of High Canada Magazine coming out this week, where we focus on both the topics of love and leadership. Okay, let's dive right in. Now, according to a recent article posted on Chief.com by Courtney Conley, Courtney says that when it comes to career advancement, it's not always what you know, but who you know. And this might be trite, but it's true. Relationships are key to personal and professional growth. In fact, according to a 2023 networking study conducted by Chief and intelligence firm Morning Consult, more than 80% of women at and above management levels said that they've used networking relationships to join boards, to break into the C-suite, or to accept a new job with better pay. Now, at the first ever Chief X Conference, New York Times best-selling author and psychologist and professor Dr. Marisa Franco explained how relationships are essential to everything that we do. Now, I'm going to quote psychotherapist Esther Perel. She said that the quality of our relationships determines the quality of our lives. The most pronounced difference between people who are very unhappy and people who are very happy is their level of connectedness, said the author. Now, she wrote Platonic, How the Science of Attachment Can Help You and Make and Keep Friends. But as a leading expert in human connection, Dr. Franco also admitted that building solid relationships as an adult is sometimes easier said than done. During her talk with attendees, Dr. Franco discussed not only the value of strong relationships, but the 3 things that leaders can do to build them within their own career. Okay, so number 1, treat relationship building as a skill that requires effort and attention. Now, while speaking at that event, I was talking about the Chief X event, Dr. Franco debunked the common myth that relationships should be effortless and happen naturally. She emphasized that in adulthood, the best way to build and foster relationships is to put forth deliberate effort and treat it like a skill that you're trying to hone, like any other skill. Don't assume it's going to happen organically, because it really doesn't, she went on to say, and especially in today's remote working culture. Overcome overt and covert avoidance by showing up to places where you could connect, and make sure that you engage with people when you get there. Additionally, to conquering any fears of rejection, she suggests that leaders enter a room with the assumption that people will like them, so that as they're forming a connection, they are not overthinking another person's perception of them. Now, according to studies, people often underestimate how well they're liked after interacting with other people, which often leads to their ability to successfully build and cultivate relationships. Now, number 2, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Contrary to popular belief, shared personal struggles and insecurities aren't always a burden to others. In fact, Dr. Franco pointed to research that explains how being vulnerable about your imperfections and concerns can actually deepen your connection with peers. There's this phenomenon called the beautiful mess effect, and it involves participants thinking about doing something vulnerable, like sharing a time they screwed up at work, or a flaw that they think about within themselves. And when they thought about how that would come off, they saw it more negatively. But when they thought about how it would come off if another person shared those vulnerabilities, they saw it more positively. So, this shows us that when we are predicting the impact of our vulnerability, we tend to underestimate just how positively people will receive it. Now, to set the stage for being more vulnerable, Dr. Franco suggested that asking questions that go deeper than the typical, "What did you do this weekend?" Instead, she suggests that you can ask questions such as, "What's the last thing that you learned?" Or, "What's one way that you hope to grow this year?" And you can lead the way by sharing your response first. Okay, number 3, build stronger connections. With increased exposure, another myth comes to mind when it comes to connection. And this is the idea that either you click with someone or you don't. Now, if you don't feel the chemistry in that first couple minutes, you need to get out of there. But this mindset does more harm than good, because the reality is many connections are built and strengthened over several interactions. There is something called the mere exposure effect. And this is the idea that by merely being exposed to people over time, we will come to like them. This is something that came from Dr. Franco as well. You literally don't even have to interact. Just being exposed to each other's faces over time helps to establish that sense of familiarity, and it usually creates a liking. Now, in addition to repeatedly putting yourself in spaces and places for connections to happen, Dr. Franco also advises leaders to look for something they like in everybody they meet and make a point to share it. The people that are really good at connecting, I find, make other people feel like they matter. Now, the secret to being likable is to find a way to be loving towards others, says Dr. Franco, and I agree with this. So funny how these 3 bits of information apply to both love and leadership, right? Synchronicity is amazing. And I guess that's it for me right now. Don't forget to smash that like button, leave a comment, and of course, please subscribe to show your support for this independent cannabis media channel. Okay, that's it for me right now. Peace out.